Being in business now for many years, most people know that, your numbers are the most important part. There's a lot of businesses out there that do a ton of sales, but at the end of the day, they don't put anything in their pocket. Every day you'll see businesses that are busy all the time, right? I can name a few.
Burning cash.
They're busy all the time. There's lines in there, and all of a sudden they put a for lease sign on the door. You're like, what happened? At the end of the day, you could sell as much as you want, but if you're not making any money, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Welcome back to another episode of the Garden State Growth Show. Today we have a very special guest, Mike Kelleher. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
One of my core memories growing up was watching you drive 120 miles an hour in your Infiniti crossover from Toms River High School North to Al's Pizza, which was 1.7 miles away. Tell us more about that.
How quick did I get there?
It was like 30 seconds.
30 seconds? It might be a record.
Good to see you're still alive. I wasn't sure we were going to make it this far since 2004. We could spend the whole episode on high school stories, but let's start with your first job after college. What was that?
So originally went to college for business management. When we were in college.
West Virginia?
No, I went to Rowan.
Oh, okay.
I went to Rowan when we were in college. You remember, there was the whole, crisis. Nobody was getting jobs. I think it was my sophomore year. I went in and my counselor was like, listen, business management, nobody's getting jobs out of college here. Yeah. So I basically asked her, I was like, well, who is getting hired? And she was like, accountants. So I switched to accounting and finance, dual majored in accounting and finance. Yeah. Graduated, first job out of college was at Klein and Livingstone CPA firm in Shrewsbury. Wow. I actually remember my first week at work. I went to like a hallway bathroom, and I'm in there, and I look over and I see David Capello, another Toms River North alumni.
No way.
Yeah. He was in there doing something with titles, I believe.
Okay.
So that was my first job.
Nice. And how long did you do that for?
I believe it was about 4.5 years.
Were you responsible for getting your own business, bringing in your own business, or they gave you people to work with?
No, I started with tax returns, then I went into corporate tax. Yeah. But no, they gave me the clients. I wasn't responsible for that. And
what was your job like after that? What made you leave and all that?
I learned pretty quickly that, accounting wasn't for me. When you're low on the totem pole, you're kind of stuck in an office with no windows. Yep. During tax season, it was brutal. You're expected to be there 7 days a week. You're in there at 6 a.m. You're not leaving until like 7, 8 p.m. Right. I remember, just many nights just being in there saying, like, I got to find a way out of this. This is not for me. I'm sure if you stick it out, once you get, some more seniority, it's different. But I wasn't really deciding to wait around.
Sure. And what was your next gig after that?
So after that, started Edible Arrangements. I got into franchising. Started with one edible arrangement, ended up growing to 4. So I still have those today. Those are down in South Jersey, Cherry Hill, Haddonfield.
That's pretty random. Why Edible Arrangements?
So my older brother was in, he actually used to work for Merrill Lynch, and then he got into the same thing. He got into tanning salons. Okay. When he owned the tanning salons, he decided to open up Edible Arrangement. Thought it was a good idea. Mm-hmm. Opened up his first one. It started off a little slow, and he's actually the one who convinced me. He was like, this might be, a big thing. Why don't you, you're not happy?
Sure.
Why don't you leave and get into it too? Yeah. So it was probably about a year after he opened his first store.
Did your background in finance and tax stuff, did that help you make those locations more profitable? Yeah,
absolutely. Being in business now for many years, most people know that, your numbers are the most important part, right? There's a lot of businesses out there that do a ton of sales, but at the end of the day, they don't put anything in their pocket. Yeah. It's actually a big problem. You see every day, you'll see businesses that are busy all the time, right? I can name a few.
Burning cash.
They're busy all the time. There's lines in there, and all of a sudden they put a for lease sign on the door. You're like, what happened? Right? Yeah. At the end of the day, you could sell as much as you want, but if you're not making any money, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
What's the most common issue you're seeing?
Cost of goods and payroll. Those are two really big things. Cost of goods really relates to like if you're selling a product, not really a service-based industry. Right. But in a lot of businesses and sales, retail, your cost of goods number is very, very critical, especially when you have fluctuating markets like COVID and things like that, where cost of goods go through the roof. If you're not paying attention to it or you're not really knowledgeable in numbers, and it gets away from you, all of a sudden, you're so focused on sales, your sales are staying the same, but your cost of goods doubles, all of a sudden you're not making money. You're losing money.
Do you recommend people have like a profit first mentality when running a business, like kind of taking the money away so it shines a light on the issues you have? Like, what's your theory on that?
So profit first is definitely your number one, that's gotta be the number one thing you focus on is your profit, right? Not sales, it's profit. So I always say that to everybody. I even used to talk to my clients with accounting about that. I think you should really focus on like the big picture, right? Sales is one component of the business. It's not the only component. So you have to really look at the whole picture. Payroll is also another one. In New Jersey, we have rising minimum wage costs.
Yeah.
I remember, when I was paying employees $750, back in, 2012.
Yeah.
High school kids, they were coming in to close the shop, just working a couple hours. Now, I think it's up to 15, 13 or something like that. So now, when kids coming in after high school are getting $15, management wants 25.
Yep.
It really, really put a big hurting on small businesses, retail businesses. It's one of the things that, drove up the cost of everything. So,
and it's not just the $15, it's payroll tax, it's work comp.
Absolutely.
It's another 12%, on top of their wage.
100%.
So 15's really 20, 25's 30.
Exactly. you have all those fees as well.
And, from running small businesses myself, I see people getting caught with payroll taxes. They don't realize, it's just the net is coming out of your bank account every week. And it's like, oh, next month I owe the payroll taxes for the month before.
Yep.
So if you're not watching that, that's a huge nut. That's 30, 40% of your payroll because only the net came out of your checking account.
Yep.
And then if you don't have the money to pay the employee and employer side of the taxes, you can get really hurt.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I started just having it all taken out each week, with the payroll. I found that helpful.
That's how I do it as well.
Yeah.
And for small business owners out there, what do you like? QuickBooks, like what?
So being that I was, have an accounting background, I still to this day do all of my different companies' books. I do them every day. I keep my books up religiously. I make
Just
sure.
the bookkeeping?
Yes, I do all my bookkeeping. I don't do my tax returns because, there's something to be said about somebody who signs off on his own tax returns. It doesn't look good.
I was just going to say, doing your own tax
So I
returns
still have a
probably frowned
CPA.
upon.
Yeah, I still have a CPA that I work with all the time. He does all my taxes. I like to keep my own books. It's also important to be able to circle back. If 1 month, maybe you're not seeing as much in the bank account, you can go back and look. What's
happened?
higher? Is my payroll higher? Is my cost higher? What changed? It's really, it's very useful to be able to stay on top of that. Business owners that do it once a year, it's not good.
Yeah, you're flying blind.
Yes. Absolutely.
And what else are you into? You have the edible arrangements. I think you have a pool company at some point.
So
is that still going on?
First was the edible arrangements. Yeah. Then I got into digital marketing. A good friend of mine, another Tom's River guy, me and him started a digital marketing company. I learned early on that if you can market a business, you can really open up anything and you can be successful at anything. It's another component.
Build a brand.
It's another component of that business, right? I did that because edible arrangements started mandating that we spend a certain amount in local advertising, and it was like a use it or lose it type of thing. So, I had a friend of mine who was very knowledgeable in digital marketing. We brought him onto edible arrangements. He started doing the marketing for us. We were very successful. Okay. And then I had a network of 1,000 franchisees that were all in the same position. They had to hire somebody to do it or they would lose it. Corporate would just take it out of our account. So I started pitching it to them at conventions, our annual convention. Hey, we can do this.
We'll do your marketing for you.
Yes, so that's how that started. And then, we branched off. We specialized in service-based industries. So any type of business that provides a service, like whether it's HVAC or electric or gas, plumbing, whatever it is, those are our, that's what we specialize in.
Okay. So.
And then after that was the pool company.
The pool company.
Yes.
How do you balance work life and personal life? Do you balance it, or is it just try your best?
Yeah, there's really no balancing at this point. Part of being an entrepreneur, every day is different. You get to work your own schedule and make flexibility, but at the same time, you're never really off. You could be out to dinner with your family and you get a text message and you got to leave. There's nothing you can do. So that's, the downfall, but at the same time, you do get some flexibility with it.
And I feel like your partner, needs to either know that, know what you do.
Yeah.
And that there's no time off. because it's going to be part of their lifestyle too.
100%. You know, my wife is very understanding, and she knows what I do and what's going on. It's not the easiest family dynamic, but she's very supportive, and that definitely helps, goes a long way.
Yeah, I feel like if you have the right intentions and you try to do some family time, you know, even if it's an hour a day, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I always say to her, you know, would you rather have a husband that works too much or that doesn't work at all?
Yeah.
Choose your heart. I'm going to use that one. You know? Yeah, it's tough because in certain situations, you know, to turn that off, to go into work mode, management mode, and then to go home, be a husband, be a father, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, it's tough when you're an entrepreneur to kind of switch that off.
And exactly, like turn your brain off, right?
That's it.
You know, a lot of times you'll be home, you know, your kids want to play, your wife wants to do something, but you know, you had one hell of a day, and you got a lot on your mind, and you just can't stop thinking about it.
Right.
It happens.
You know, back in the day, people would have an hour drive home, you know, from work to decompress and like work things out, call people, wrap things up. But now it's like you go from your home office, especially if you're an entrepreneur, to the kitchen. It's like they start throwing their problems at you, and you're like, I'm still thinking about 1,000 other things that are going on. But I never stopped working.
Yep, exactly.
So that's you know, something I'm personally working on too, where it's like
Same.
Same. And we're always putting out fires in our business. And we're working with people who can sometimes only talk to us after 5.
Right.
You know, in real estate and mortgages.
Yeah.
So
it's just the one point, you know, you'll have that call come in. We're just so on the go. As an entrepreneur, you want to answer that call, whether your kid's talking to you, your wife's in a conversation, be like, oh, I got to take this call. Like, do you really have to take that call? I have to take this call.
Yeah.
In some cases you do, in other cases you don't. It's just force of habit, you know? It's the nature of the beast. So yeah, I totally get with you on that. I mean, I could tell you it's important to be able to juggle both those things, be able to turn it off. But also you need the supporting, the other half of you has to be supportive of what you do for a living.
For sure.
100%.
You know, and I always say, you know, and my wife knows this, like, there is no not answering the call, because if I don't answer the call, all I'm going to do is just be thinking about what's going on, what happened,
Fair.
you know, why are they calling me, and at the same, I'll still be checked out until I can answer it and figure out what happened.
Yeah.
You know.
That's honest.
Yeah. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below, and share it with your friends. Back to the show. So you got into the restaurant business after the pool business.
Yes.
Do we have the timeline right?
Yep. So you have the timeline right.
So tell us about what's going on with that.
Sure. So, you know, I've been in franchising for almost 15 years. It's always been a dream of mine to open my own franchise,
start your own brand.
Yes, start my own brand, start my own franchise, be a franchisor rather than, you know, the other side, which is the franchisee. I learned a lot from Edible Arrangements, you know, the company's, you know, peaks and valleys and everything that went on. I'd like to say I learned what to do and what not to do, but, you know, the time will tell. And so, you know, I put a lot of thought this last 5-6 years. I've really been thinking, you know, what type of brand can I start? How can I get into this? I've been down to Nashville a bunch of times, and I've always liked the Southern style, like Nashville hot chicken. I've always felt like that's something that we were missing up in the Northeast.
For sure.
I agree.
I originally was going to get into Dave's Hot Chicken. Believe it or not, I was looking into it, but I, at the same time, didn't want to be another franchisee. And they finally opened up their first location in New Jersey, which was in Wayne. I drove up there, I tried the product, I liked it. I'm not gonna say I didn't, I liked the product, but I felt like, you know, there could be more on the menu, right? It was a little limited, and maybe I could do better. So I have a partner of mine, his name is Mike as well. He's a chef by trade. And we started, you know, testing things, you know. We spent about a year testing different recipes and menu items. He has a commercial kitchen. So after work, you know, I'd go there, you know, a couple times a week. He'd have different sauces and chicken recipes and everything, and we just started testing it. Once we felt like we had something special, you know, we secured our first lease in Wall, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And
was that hard to get?
It was.
Because you'd be like, it's a brand new business.
Yeah. It was. We actually found, I can't even tell you how many leases we found. Commercial real estate's very competitive, especially like grade A plazas.
Right.
Very, very competitive market. And we would go into them and tell them, hey, we want to open up this restaurant. And they're just like, okay, where's your website? Well, we don't have one. Well, where's your menu? Well, it's not built yet.
Because they're like, oh, this is a 60% fail rate or 70 or 80.
Exactly. So they're like, well, what are you going to sell? Well, we don't know yet. You know, it was like kind of we're working as we go.
Right.
And you know, we figured it all out. We had it done. Finally, we got a landlord who wanted to let us in. We basically had to sign our kids away to get into it, though.
Yeah.
And you know, we're blessed. Everything's been extremely successful. You know, beyond what we ever would have expected.
Nice.
We opened our doors January 3rd, and you know, it's been a whirlwind ever since.
Name of the business.
Broadway Hot and Honey Chicken.
Broadway Hot and Honey Chicken.
Did you happen to bring any with you?
I didn't, but I would have if you asked.
Yeah, no,
It'd been nice.
I was thinking about that on the way up here. I'm like, damn it.
Shark's always got a sample.
I would have definitely stopped and brought some up.
No, it's okay.
So, do you consider that, or is that a fast casual business? What is it?
So
it fast food?
That's actually a great question, because we've been asked this question many times, and we're actually about to put out a post about it. So I go out to eat a lot with my family. I have kids like yourselves. And we like high quality food. You know, it doesn't have to be like the highest end restaurant, you know, fine dining, but I like good quality food, not processed, not frozen, you know, some stuff that's not gonna, you know, give everybody cancer in 100 years, you know. So we decided to start a place where it's all natural chicken, no antibiotics, no hormones, non-GMO. All of our sauces are made from scratch with real ingredients. Nothing in our entire restaurant's processed. Everything is made daily. The chicken is breaded and fried to order. It's not even pre-done. It's not sitting under heat lamps when you walk in. It's made to order. So we're closer to a quick serve because we don't have fast food times. You know, our cook times could be anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're closer to that, but we do have a little bit more service. So, you know, Chipotle, you order your food, you know, they hand it to you, you go, you sit down, you throw it out. At our restaurant, you know, you'll order your food, they'll bring it out to you. Somebody will come and check on you within 1 to 2 minutes after your food's dropped. They'll ask you how your meal is everything cooked right? You know, do you need any extra sauce? Can I get you anything? So there is that other aspect of it. Okay. A little bit closer to a table service restaurant without having an actual server that, you know, you have to order through and you have to tip at the end.
What do they take a number on a flag? Like
no, so it actually goes by name. So you'll go and you'll place your order. We have self-serve kiosks. You'll type your name in, or you can go up and order it at the counter and you'll give them your name. When the food's ready, they'll come out into the dining room, they'll call your name, and they'll just bring it over, you'll drop it at your table.
Okay. Sure.
Nice.
You guys in any of the catering space?
We are doing a lot of catering right now for the summer. We've been doing, you know, chicken nugget trays, tender trays, wings, lots of stuff like that for the summer.
Deliver it, or they come pick it up?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, we do pick up and delivery.
It's a lot of logistics and delivery.
A lot of logistics, yeah. So, you know, we opened and it's been...
You have minimum orders, I'm assuming?
So for catering, I believe the minimum's $100. Outside of that, no. I think the other day, and I was blown away when I saw this, somebody ordered 3 packets of our sauce, of our honey mustard sauce, and paid DoorDash about $20 to have it delivered.
My God.
That was a new one. That was a new one.
That's homemade, you know?
Yeah.
Do you guys, what is your thoughts on DoorDash and those companies? Like, it's worth it, I guess, at the end of the day? Just opens up a new market?
Yeah, so I had to learn the whole, you know, third-party industry because it's taken this country over. And it could make or break your business. DoorDash third-party is one thing that's killing restaurants. If you don't know how to manage it, you can be in a lot of trouble. So the way their model works is they mark up your products 30%. To put it on their platform. So if you have something that sells for $10, they're gonna put it on DoorDash at $13 and take that $3, okay? Mm-hmm. I always tell my customers, if you go on BroadwayChicken.com and place an order, I have a deal negotiated with DoorDash where that same DoorDash driver is gonna come here and pick it up and deliver it to you, but it's going to be significantly less. And you're gonna get it at the same time. You're basically paying them to use their platform as a means for sales, right? A lot of people, including myself, I'm guilty of it. You know, we're hungry, we go on DoorDash, we start scrolling through it. You know, what do I feel like, right?
Well branded. It's well branded, yeah.
Per item. I thought there's just like a surcharge at the bottom.
No, they mark up your prices.
Oh, wow.
Note to self. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Everybody listens
to that.
That's why lunch
is $50.
So you know,
now
that cheeseburger's 30% higher than what you think it is.
Yes. So
no kidding.
It's big. So what I've learned is the bigger the company, the more leverage you have.
Sure.
We've already been able to get our 30% down to 20 because, you know, since we franchised and we have more stores coming now. The big ones, the Wendy's, the McDonald's, they may be at 10, 12, 15. But if you're a single store, mom and pop, you're at 30%. There's no getting around it. And I always tell the customers, 9 out of 10 times, if you decide what you want, they're gonna probably not be. I hope they didn't see this video.
But they're charging you the service fee over and above
On top
the
of that.
30% increase.
Yes. So
And then granted, you're paying a delivery fee, which is standard. Obviously they got to get paid to deliver the food to your house, but a service fee plus an increase in your product.
Yes. So again, if you don't pay attention to this, you're paying more for the product. If you do, you can go to the restaurant's website, and a lot of times you can order it directly through them, and if you notice, the prices are going to be lower. Now, some restaurants choose to then not implement that upcharge, right? So like, let's say you sell something for $10, DoorDash tells you they're gonna mark it up to 30%. This is where restaurants have run into problems. They say, no, leave the price the same. So now they have a product that they sell for $10 that DoorDash is gonna take $3 of, they're gonna get 7 instead of their 10.
They're taking the piece, yeah.
That's what I've noticed is killing small businesses.
Most people are probably doing that. And this is, that makes sense why because you think, like, why wouldn't everybody be on a platform like DoorDash if they're well branded, and you see busier restaurants, and they're just like, no, they stopped doing DoorDash. And I guess it's for that purpose. You take care of your clientele, and you don't want to see them get price gouged, and all the same, you want to give them the same price, because the last thing you want is somebody being like, why is this more expensive, and have to explain that,
right.
Constantly.
Yep.
So the fact that you could obviously, gear them and direct them towards your website and give them the 411 on how to avoid those additional costs.
And educate them when they're in the store.
Yeah,
have QR
that's
codes,
huge.
here's our app, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do you have an app?
We are working on it right now. We will have our own app.
I was going to say, yeah.
It'll probably be out within the next month or so.
Nice. Because like for me, I don't want to call to order food.
Nobody does.
No, you don't want to deal with people.
Especially in the Uber world we
Nobody
live
does.
in now.
Right.
So I just want to click chicken, click fries, and just walk in and grab it and leave.
Yes.
And you'll be like, wow, $57. And you're like,
Yeah.
this, it should only be 30, but just being lazy, you're just like, forget it.
So,
It'll be here.
people are so just used to it at this point, right? They want their credit card saved on file. They don't even want to take their credit card in anymore. They want it saved on file. They want their address on file.
One click.
They want to pick what they want and just hit, pay now. That's it. They want to show up at the
Amazon, buy now.
Yeah.
That's what they're used to.
You can tax them for that as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you got to watch your credit card processing fees. A lot of businesses don't watch that.
Absolutely. That's another thing you can negotiate. A lot of businesses don't know.
And you could have the cash discount program,
Yep.
whatever, charge it back to the customer.
Yes.
All that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. So what's next for Broadway Chicken? You're thinking about franchising?
We did franchise, so
you have a location?
Yeah, we opened January 3rd. Had tremendous interest. The original plan was 1 to 2 years. It kind of blew us all away. So we had to expedite things. We got a franchise attorney. Filed our FDD, our federal disclosure document, on March 31st. Officially became a licensed franchise in 28 states. We had sold our first franchise in right around end of April. Since then, we now have, I believe, 7 locations under contract.
Wow.
Nice.
Which
Congrats.
4 or so will be built and open by the end of this year, early next year.
Awesome.
Are you going to have any
exciting.
corporate stores?
Yeah, so we learned very quickly that we made some mistakes with our first location, which is expected.
Yeah.
So we have our corporate headquarters going in Fort Monmouth.
Okay.
That's
nice.
going to be the Broadway Chicken 2.0, I guess, so to speak. It'll be larger. We're going to have indoor dining and outdoor dining there. Same model though. We'll have self-serve kiosks, or you can order at the counter. There will be no servers, but you will still have that service of people coming over, checking on you during your meal, asking if you need anything. And other than that, it's going to be the same vibe. Nashville themed. We're going to have country music playing. We're going to have hand painted murals on the wall. It's going to be a fun, fun environment.
Are you going to have a drive-through?
So that store actually, believe it or not, does. But we're not going to get into that just yet. It's something I feel like we have to test and spend a lot of time with before we just,
Well, if you
Well,
said
once
it's
the app
homemade,
is out, maybe they order from their car and just wait.
We're thinking we may,
nature.
if we get into drive-throughs,
Like a Sonic.
it's going to be a pickup window.
That's
so
what I
it'll
mean,
be like order by the app. When you get a notification that your order's ready, pull up, we'll hand you your bag, and you can head on.
That makes sense.
It's not going to be a drive-through where you're going to be able to order and then sit there and wait. Just our wait times, they can't support
You're
that.
making it homemade.
Yeah.
I mean,
Your parking lot will be full, and you
yeah,
won't
just
have
gonna
people
say,
won't be able to
then
come
you
inside.
strategically
Exactly.
need a gigantic parking lot, just based on the volume.
Yes.
For people sitting there. Yeah. Makes sense.
So I guess out of everything you've done in life so far, what's been your most exciting and fruitful venture? Is it the chicken business?
Yeah, I'd say, starting a new business is always exciting. Anytime you start a new business, it's like, your shiny new toy. The challenge is, staying focused on that while also expanding. Right now, Broadway Chicken is definitely got majority of my attention. It's, it's something that I've been dreaming of doing for a long time, starting our own franchise. We're there. We're experiencing tremendous growth, very rapid growth right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say right now that's definitely the most exciting thing, and it's what I'm focusing a majority
Bringing
of my time
on people that have experience in doing what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So I learned when I started franchise, I wasn't sure what to expect, and I was thinking it's going to be I got to try really hard to find franchisees. Franchising model is very popular right now. There's a lot of people out there that want to open a franchise. They want to start their own business, but they don't know how, and that's where the franchise model comes in. We've found it's actually more difficult right now securing grade A commercial real estate.
Wow.
We have certain properties in certain towns that they're prime real estate, and we go in and put a bid on it, and there's 10 other offers. So we learned really quickly that it's a very competitive market right now. I'm not sure how it's going to stay or how it used to be 3 years ago. But right now we're looking, all over the state in prime markets and very good towns, and it was definitely a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
What are you allowed to talk numbers of what a franchise would need, a franchisor would need, or is that still being worked out?
So I'm allowed to talk the numbers that are disclosed in the FDD. Franchise fee is $40,000. It gives you a 10-year license with a 10-year option to renew.
Okay.
Estimated investment is roughly between $300,000 and $500,000.
Okay.
That includes fit out?
Yes. So that includes all your equipment package and your estimated build-out costs. Correct.
What's the perfect square footage?
I'll know when I find it. Our first store is 1,500. It's entirely too small.
Okay.
We had to actually get a storage unit down the road to store all our dry goods that we're running back and forth to.
Because you're selling so much, you need somewhere to store.
We don't have enough
inventory.
space for anything. I've redesigned my kitchen twice, and we've only been open 6 months. We're now up to 12 fryers. I started with 6. Right. So we're learning and adapting as we're going. The new stores are going to have a bigger kitchen, more storage space, and bigger dining rooms. So I have 32 seats in our wall location. Our Fort Monmouth location, for example, is going to have, I think, 64 indoor and I think another 40 outside. Covered patio dining. It's really for those peak times, right? Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. It's not
Got to
good.
get through the rush.
Yeah, you want to have a dining room that, we don't take reservations, right? So if somebody comes in on a Friday night and it's packed, they just end up taking their food to go and leaving. But then next Friday night, if their family wants to eat there, they might pick somewhere else because they're going to know in their head, like, hey, we're not going to get a table.
Yeah, we're not going to get a table.
Yeah,
sure.
so you need to have enough seats that, people can come in and know that they're going to be able to sit down and eat with their family. What that number is, we don't know yet. If all of a sudden we open this one and that one's full, maybe we'll have to go larger. Our location in Freehold, that's about 2,900 square feet. I believe that's going to be our largest location so far. That's going to be right on Route 9. They'll have about, I would say, 60 to 70 seats inside.
And some of these locations are going to have picnic tables outside?
Yeah, so the Fort Monmouth will have actual tables outside on a covered patio, so you can sit out there and eat.
Yeah, that'll help with overflow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You just have to have some running water, hose the kids off.
Yeah, we suggest square footage to be between 1,800 and 2,600, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest surprise running and owning a restaurant for the first time? Something you didn't expect, I guess.
Biggest surprise that we didn't expect.
Positive or negative, I guess.
So one thing that I've experienced in my other businesses was employment, right? For a long time, it was extremely hard to find employees, and everybody can relate to that. Yep. The biggest surprise, I would say, is every one of my employees at Broadway Chicken came and knocked on the door during our build-out process.
No way.
Yes, and we hired them. Never had to even put out an ad.
Very
The
surprising.
job market has turned, in my opinion, and
People are willing to hustle now.
from fellow business owners as well. A lot of people are trying to get work right now. So that labor market, that shortage that we had for those several years, that I expected to be my biggest challenge, ended up being not a problem at all.
A pro.
It ended up, yeah.
You didn't have
But
to
you
be in
guys
the
are like
market for
building
it.
the plane while you're flying. So how
We
did you
are.
even train these people in the beginning?
We are. So
You don't have an SOP.
so I've never worked in a restaurant. I was there 7 days a week from January 3rd, I would say all the way until April. I was there every single day, probably, open to close. And so was my partner. He played a huge role in it. Like I said, he's a chef, so he was manning the kitchen back there. I was calling him Tom Brady for a while because we had a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and he was just like in the middle, just shouting
Pointing and shooting.
out orders to
Quarterback.
everybody. You get on this, you get on this, and that's what people are paying for in a franchise, right? Like we built the operation, we built the
Right.
process, we built
What
the
works, what
Concept,
doesn't.
yeah.
yeah, so now like the way we redesigned it is so that everything flows, right? It starts on one end and it rotates around the kitchen to the other end. Like we had to reorganize things. Like if you watch it now from when the first week we opened, it's not even
People
close.
were probably just running into each other in the beginning.
Yeah, we had I remember like our first week, I went and looked out the door and we had a line wrapped around the building of people waiting. We had no online orders on, no phone orders. It was only walk-in only, and the sales numbers we were doing were similar to what we're doing now. The difference is it was taking twice as long to make, right? We had to perfect the operation, which we have. I believe we have. So that's what these people are buying. They're buying, a playbook that shows you exactly how to do it, the most efficient way to how to do it, and the most cost-effective way to do it.
So anyone interested in opening a franchise, how do they get in contact with you?
Sure, so they'll go to BroadwayChicken.com. There is a link at the top of the website. It says Now Franchising. You click the link, there's a form there, you fill out the form, and it will go over to my team who will evaluate it and give you a call within 48 hours.
So you go through like an interview process, I guess?
Yeah, so once you fill out the form, we'll do a phone interview, see if it matches. If we think you might be a good fit, we'll bring you in, we'll meet you, and then from there, you'll be put into the process. Franchising is very, very heavily regulated. There's this thing called the franchise disclosure document. It has to be filed. It's like a legal binding document. Once we serve it to you, you have 14 days to review it, where we can't have any further contact as far as like negotiations, right? So the government tries to protect the franchisee by making this 14-day period where you can't come in and say, I'm so excited, I want to sign today. We have to disclose you. You must have 14 days to have an attorney review it, give you enough time to do your due diligence, make sure it's the right fit. If after that 14 days you say, okay, I still want in, then we can start negotiating, talking, and things of that nature.
Will you assist them with finding locations, or they got to find their own location?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a whole real estate division now. They specialize in commercial real estate. They are not required to use them, but it's something that we offer them if they want to use this company. They can use them to help them find commercial real estate.
And I'm assuming that your real estate team knows what to look for.
Yeah, exactly. So
size and price.
So they talk to me every day. They know exactly what we're looking for. They even have like all of our equipment, our layout. They know everything about the business. Most of our deals have been, I want to say, I guess the word in real estate's off market. I learned a lot of these plazas that we want to get into, that the greatest plazas, the best, busiest plazas, you'll never see like a for lease sign on a window, because when a business is going out, the landlord on these plazas knows about it, and they have 10 people ready to get in.
Right.
So, the days of driving around and finding this great spot with a for lease sign in the windows, they're not there.
Yeah.
So most of these have been, he reaches out to these landlords, lets them know, hey, I have somebody, this is the business.
Gets on the list.
Yeah, we've actually had a landlord with a pretty big company, almost like $1 billion company. One day my employees call me and there's somebody in the store with video cameras walking around the restaurant. Like, where are you guys from? And they go and tell us that, we're from, we have an offer on their property. So he sent like a team there to videotape our restaurant. He wanted to know about it.
Yeah.
So a lot of these landlords, they are very diligent who they let in these plazas, right? They don't want a lot of turnover.
No, right.
And they don't want somebody to start stiffing them on rent.
Oh, that makes sense. So they're doing due diligence.
Yeah,
Make sure it's
absolutely.
actually a busy.
Yeah, there's a lot of vetting that goes into that.
As a up and coming franchise with one location, it's still tough, but it's getting easier.
Yeah.
We're starting to have landlords that are reaching out to us now, saying that we've heard about you guys. We have some properties that we'd like you to look at.
Because they may tell you about stuff that's not even built.
That's it.
It's coming in 6 months.
I have a whole stack of plans of plazas that are coming, that are being built from landlords that are offering them to us in a bunch of different towns that I wouldn't have had access to before our first location.
So let's say somebody wants to get into this. Last question. They don't have all the cash. They could take on partners, right? Create
Absolutely.
a little investment trust.
Absolutely, yeah. We have, out of my franchisees, one group is 4 guys. They're 4 buddies, 4 best friends. They came together. They started a group. Another one is 2 cousins. They started a group. So, yeah, absolutely. You could have partners. How you come up with the funds is, a lot of people come up with different ways.
Do you have to have restaurant experience, or it's just preferred?
No, it's not even preferred. So
It's probably not preferred.
yeah, we've.
so that you follow the
You want to
playbook.
learn their model.
I would actually agree with that.
Right.
We have developed a system in our kitchen. We've developed these fryers with a company called Henny Penny. They're the world's leader in fryers. Chick-fil-A uses them. KFC uses them. They are like the world leader. So we've implemented these fryers that are almost like computer systems. They calculate the moisture percentage, all these different things that they factor in. They even lower and raise the chicken when it's done.
Wow.
Like it's completely automated, right?
Like it knows.
All you have to know how to do is like, what is a tender, and make sure you put it in the basket.
you put it in the
that says
right
tender.
spot.
That's the only thing you mess up. If you mess up a tender and a wing, you could undercook chicken. But for the most part, it's a pretty simple process. That's the recipe for successful franchising, right? It needs to be something that anybody can hire somebody off the street, and they could easily do it. If you all needed to have 5-star, Michelin chefs, there's no way you could scale this.
If everything runs perfect, what kind of margins can they expect? 10%, 20%?
So that's something that I can't disclose.
Okay. All right.
Well, and that's also based on.
But if somebody wants
geographics and
more information,
locations, yeah.
Yeah, reach out to you guys.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Michael. It's great talking to you.
thanks, Jen.
Thanks for being here from the Garden State Grove
Thank
Show.
you.
Very
Good
nice.
luck with your franchises,
Yes.
and maybe we'll buy
Well,
one.
yeah,
There you
hey,
go.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Find some good plazas.
We're a customer
I will.
for now.
Yeah. All right. Don't go anywhere. Like, comment, subscribe below. Share with your friends. Tell your mom about us.